Before the night ends, before the secret is revealed, before one quiet conversation changes everything, ask yourself this: what if the stranger you comforted in your lowest moment held the power to rewrite your entire future? Stay with this story until the very last moment, because what begins as a simple act of kindness becomes a life-altering turn no one saw coming. And if stories like this move your heart, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps these stories reach the people who need them most. Ethan never imagined he would be standing under crystal chandeliers again. The Gala hall shimmered with gold light and polished marble, a world far removed from the cramped apartment where his mornings began with burnt toast and his nights ended with unpaid bills spread across the table. He adjusted the collar of his borrowed suit, the fabric stiff against his skin, and reminded himself why he was here. The catering company had been short-staffed, and the pay for one night could cover groceries for a week. For Lily, his 6-year-old daughter who thought her dad was the strongest man alive, he would endure anything. The room buzzed with laughter and clinking glasses. Wealth moved differently here, confident, unhurried, unaware of the quiet desperation hiding behind polite smiles. Ethan blended into the background, carrying trays, keeping his head down. He had learned long ago that the less attention he drew, the easier the night would pass. Still, as he moved between guests dressed in silken tailored suits, he couldn't stop thinking how strange it was that people could be surrounded by so many and still look so alone. That's when he noticed her. She stood near the edge of the balcony, slightly apart from the crowd, her hands wrapped tightly around a glass she hadn't sipped. Her gown was elegant but understated, her posture composed, yet something in her eyes felt heavy, distant, as if she were listening to a conversation no one else could hear. The city lights behind her blurred into soft stars, framing her quiet isolation. Ethan slowed without realizing it, something familiar tugging at his chest. He recognized that look. He'd seen it in his own reflection too many nights. He hesitated. Approaching a guest was risky. But kindness had never asked for permission. Setting his tray aside, he stepped closer, his voice gentle. "These events can be overwhelming," he said with an awkward smile. "I usually escape to the balcony when I need to breathe." She looked at him, startled at first, then curious. Her smile appeared slowly, like it hadn't been used in a while. "Is it that obvious?" she asked. "Only to someone who's done the same," Ethan replied. They stood there, the noise of the gala fading behind them, and for a moment, it felt like the world had narrowed to just two people sharing the same quiet space. She told him her name was Claire. She didn't mention titles or companies, and he didn't ask. He told her about Lily, how she loved bedtime stories and believed her dad could fix anything with duct tape and patience. Talking about his daughter softened him, and Claire listened as if every word mattered. Claire surprised herself by opening up. She spoke of responsibility that felt heavier than armor, of expectations that left no room to grieve, of nights spent in penthouses that echoed with silence. She didn't say she was lonely outright, but the word lived between her sentences. Ethan didn't interrupt. He didn't offer solutions. He simply listened, nodding, understanding more than he explained. "You know," he said quietly, "my wife passed away 3 years ago. Some days, the hardest part isn't being tired or broke. It's pretending I'm okay so my daughter doesn't worry. But I've learned something: being strong doesn't mean being silent." Claire's eyes filled, and she turned away, embarrassed. "I run a company with thousands of employees," she whispered. "Everyone thinks I have it all together. But tonight, I felt invisible." Ethan shook his head gently. "You're not invisible. You're human." Those words broke something open. Claire laughed softly through tears, a sound filled with relief. For the first time that evening, she took a real breath. They talked longer than either realized, about loss, about hope, about the strange courage it takes to keep going. When an announcement called guests back inside, Claire hesitated, then smiled at Ethan with genuine warmth. "Thank you," she said. "You have no idea how much this meant." "Sometimes," he replied, "we help each other more than we know." They parted without exchanging numbers, without promises. Ethan returned to work, his heart lighter than it had been in months. Claire rejoined the crowd, her steps steadier, her expression calmer. When she took the stage moments later, the room fell silent. Ethan froze. "Good evening," she began, her voice confident, commanding. "I'm Claire Morgan, CEO of Morgan Industries." The words hit him like a wave. His breath caught as applause thundered around him. The lonely woman on the balcony, the one who'd cried quietly under the stars, was the most powerful person in the room. Heat rushed to his face as he replayed every word he'd said, every unguarded truth. He expected embarrassment, regret. Instead, he felt something unexpected: pride. He hadn't spoken to a CEO. He'd spoken to a person. Weeks passed. Life returned to its routine of school lunches and late shifts. Ethan assumed the night would remain just a memory, a brief crossing of paths. Then one afternoon, his phone rang with a number he didn't recognize.